The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers or Rogers TV.
Welcome to Health Matters. I'm your host, Dr. Lana Marconi. This episode is based on my favorite color, green. Yep, we're going to live it up green tonight, folks, and learn about eco-friendly living and its relationship to personal health. Please help me to welcome my first guest, Vice President of Events for the Green Living Show, Robert Orlovsky. Hi, Robert.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. And I understand that you've come to the studio bearing a gift for our viewers.
I have indeed. The first 10 viewers to call today will get complimentary tickets to the Green Living Show happening April 12th to the 14th at the Direct Energy Center.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Viewers, if you'd like these tickets to the Green Living Show, please call 905-595-LIVE. Robert, we're going to get into your show's programming, but first I just have a few eco questions for you.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what do you think the relationship is between environment and personal health?
And that's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, I like to really sort of look at it as if I'm purchasing something and I can't understand or don't know what the ingredients are that comprise what I'm purchasing, or there's something that is included with what I'm purchasing that I really don't get, or it's a word I can't pronounce, or it has far too many letters for anyone's own good. I like to think of that as something that it likely isn't particularly healthy for me or my family.
Sure.
And as a result, the process by which that's made or prepared isn't as healthy for the environment. Mm-hmm. So by and large, products that are healthier for you, a little simpler, more local, where possible organic, don't use added things that you just don't understand, are both healthy for you and less damaging to the environment to create.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm actually going to add, I looked on PubMed, which is a research database that health professionals look on, and it's full of like 1 million research articles in the biomedical science. And I Googled global warming and infectious disease, and over 100 research articles came up. And global warming is huge because it's actually spreading the geographical range for disease vector organisms, such as mosquitoes and rodents. And so the 5 diseases that are actually thriving thanks to global warming are malaria, dengue fever, encephalitis, bubonic plague, and cholera. Cholera.
Yeah.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change projects warmer temperatures will put 65% of the world's population at risk for infection.
It's scary.
That's an increase of 20%.
Yeah,
okay.
It is scary.
So there's a huge relationship between environment and our health, and we didn't even touch upon respiratory disease and cancer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the amazing thing is that we all have the capacity to be able to make choices that are going to reverse that trend, or at the very least contain that trend. And it's about information. It's about really understanding what it is that you're purchasing, what choices you're making, and it's really the simpler choices. It's not drastic lifestyle changes, but more just the simpler choices that actually are going to counteract that trend. And it's quite easy for people to do. It's just as a matter of staying informed.
And that's what Dr. Jane Goodall talks about.
Absolutely.
Simple choices.
Yeah.
And I understand you're going to have, for the families, the roots and
Roots and Shoots, yeah. I've been participating at the Green Living Show since
Do you want to
we
explain
started.
what the Roots and Shoots is?
Well, or you could go ahead if you like.
Okay, so Jane Goodall, a primatologist, when she was 26, she went to East Africa to study chimpanzees, and she was the first woman to actually go into the wild. When she was a little girl, she used to actually bring worms to her bed to go to sleep in, and her mom said, "No, Jane, those have to go into the garden." So her Roots and Shoots are about the roots underground, and the ground, even though it's solid, the shoots can break through. So really it's about all people having the potential and power to break through and make change. Every person's choice and action makes a difference to help global change, and everyone can be a global citizen. So what's your journey in terms of eco-friendly living?
My personal journey?
Yeah.
You know, it's been a really interesting journey. I started off by just understanding, getting a sense of what my choices are, and then identifying Not only that those choices are leading me to eating healthier,
Sure.
fresher, more delicious foods and preparing lovely foods for my, my family.
Yeah.
But they're also leading to saving me a lot of money. I now drive a car that requires far less fuel to operate, and as a result, I spend far less money on fuel, and it's more money in my pocket. Some of the changes I've made to my home have resulted in significant changes in the amount of money that I spend month to month operating it. So there are a number of benefits that I think don't immediately come clear. And as you said, it's a journey. It's from understanding that, wait a minute, I'm making choices that are actually healthier, that are actually better for the environment, but also really a lot better for my pocketbook and for my account at the end of the day. And so there's these multitude of reasons to make these small choices. And my personal journey has been going through that, each one of those revelations, and then also discovering all the benefits of each one of those revelations.
Nice.
Yeah.
What does sustainable living mean?
To me, and I think
Yeah.
if you were to ask everybody, depending on the industry that they're in, they'll likely have a different answer. For example, someone in the alternative energy space might say, well, it's about consuming less energy, being more efficient, finding new renewable sources of energy, and that is sustainable living. Others will talk about the way that we use the land and the products that we actually produce for consumption, the food items, and organic farming and organic agriculture, and then not using GMOs. So it really sort of depends on who you ask. To me, it's about taking what I need to lead a lifestyle that keeps me happy and not more.
Sure, and that's what it's about, being happy, right?
It's about being happy and being healthy and consuming about as much as I need to be able to achieve that.
You brought up a really good point about
Yeah.
consuming. A lot of writers out there. You have great writers on your website.
Yes,
I have
thanks.
to
Thank
say,
you.
I love your writers.
Thanks.
Consumers, we are a consuming nation, and that's something that we need to change. Would you say?
Well, change or recognize and remain informed. I think
Sure.
as many have written and many have said long before our conversation today, we're not going to change the consumer culture, and certainly not with enough time to make a real significant impact on climate change. I think what we're seeing now more and more, and certainly having been a part of the Green Living Show since inception, we're seeing a multitude of options in the marketplace that didn't exist.
So what type of businesses do you have featured at the Green Living Show?
Well, we've got such a wide breadth. So you'll find the newest electric vehicles. So for example, the Mitsubishi i-MiEV or the Nissan Leaf or Ford C-Max hybrid or plug-in hybrid. So there's vehicles, actual hybrid and electric technology at the show.
And people can drive these cars around?
You can drive the cars around, and then you mosey on over just a few miles over, and there's organic fashion, organic cottons, certified bamboos, reused vintage clothing, and then you mosey on a little over and you'll find nutritionals, local and organic foods, and then just over a little more, geothermal technologies.
Nice.
And solar and wind that really have an incredible impact on the way that you operate your home or business.
What type of presentations do you have? I saw on your website you have
Yeah.
the Green Heroes coming.
Yes, indeed.
I'm a big fan of the Green Heroes.
And they're doing great work,
Yeah.
and they've
Yeah.
been a part of the show now for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I encourage you to check back at our website, greenlivingshow.ca. On the main stage link, you'll see our list of speakers. The nice thing is about the way that we approach our content at the show is that we try and cover every lifestyle category. So there'll be a panel on nutrition and food. We'll have panels on key environmental wins and initiatives that have been successful grassroots campaigns. We'll have a fashion show, and the Green Car of the Year will be announced at the Green Living Show. So we're really covering
the range.
Something for everyone.
Yeah. What are the trends in terms of the public's response to your Green Living Show over the years? Is it growing? Are people becoming more receptive to green living?
Yeah, definitely. There's a few indicators of their becoming more receptive. One is we've seen attendance go up by about 20% year over year since 2007. So that's a big indicator of public reception. The other is our exhibitors are telling us, oh my gosh, I've sold so much product, or I've met so many leads for my product or service to people's homes. So people are less inquisitive, they're more informed, and we're seeing this trend of actually acting on information and making buying decisions, which is really exciting because when we launched the show, a lot of our exhibitor feedback was, well, we had a wonderful time educating people about our product.
And that's really what it's about. It's
It really
creating
is.
awareness and educating people.
And it's very exciting to see more and more people having reached that critical level of education and actually making buying decisions.
That's fantastic. I mean, hands down to you guys for providing that forum for the public. What sustainable living, green living tips would you give to people?
Well, that's you know, it's a loaded question, and I think it's a good one. To me,
Yeah.
they're some of the simplest and easiest tips, if we could put that filter on it. And something I've just naturally done is I'll try and buy food that I know is from very close by to where I live. I know that food is fresher, it's more nutritious as a result of that, and it tastes far better, and I actually make much nicer meals. So it's just, you know, simple things like going into the grocery store and choosing something that comes from Ontario,
Right.
as opposed to something that comes from somewhere quite a bit further afield.
Yeah.
That's a very simple choice. I've recently switched to a hybrid vehicle, and I have to tell you that my fuel savings are incredible, and I'm so happy I've done that.
And you're saving the environment, right? Because fossil fuel is like the #1 destroyer of our atmosphere. Did you watch Al Gore, Inconvenient Truth?
Yes, in fact, Al Gore presented an Inconvenient Truth at the Green Living Show in 2007.
Nice.
So yeah, but that was certainly a turning point.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
On your website, here were 6 easy-to-keep eco-health resolutions when we had the turn of the new year.
Yeah.
Eat local and organic, what you were talking about. Go meatless on Mondays.
Yeah, it's easy. It's
Go
really
meatless
easy
on
to
Mondays.
do.
Yeah, and you have great websites on there, meatlessmonday.com. Get outside, obviously. Ride the bus or bike. I didn't know you get a tax credit back
Yeah, I think that's a recent program.
for public transportation.
Yeah, it's a recent program.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I ride my bike into work. I feel great in the morning. It gives me, now I happen to live close to where I work, but my 20 minutes is for me, and I feel very energized when I get into the office in the morning. And it's, apart from the tax credits, it's also a body credit.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Few seconds left. Is there anything else you would like viewers to know about the Green Living Show?
Sure. Yeah. It opens on the 12th of April, and that's a Friday, and closes on the 14th, which is Sunday. It is going to feature over 400 exhibits. We're heading into our 7th year, so it's bigger and better than ever.
Yep.
You can get in free if you recycle e-waste. So if you bring with you an old piece of electronic waste,
that's fantastic.
You get in free.
I'm going to do that.
You should.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to come to the show and go shopping. I'm a woman. I love to shop,
Good.
and now I can shop for green. Thank you so much,
It's my
Robert.
pleasure. Thank
All
you
the
for
best.
having me. Thank you.
We'll be back on Health Matters, more on eco-friendly living and personal health. Thank you. Welcome back to Health Matters. If you're just joining us, we're talking about eco-friendly living and its relationship to personal health. Viewers, if you have any questions, please call in at 905-595-LIVE. My next guest has a doctorate degree in education in applied psychology, a doctor in natural medicine. She is also a deputy member of the Canadian delegation for the International Parliament of Peace and Safety, an eco-essentials consultant, and one of the wisest women I know, Dr. Sabina DeVita. How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. Very well. That's lovely of you to say that.
Thank you for being here. Tell our viewers what an eco-essentials consultant is.
Well, Eco-Essentials Consultant is actually a new label, and it's basically to target this whole new wave of green living. And I started that about a year ago. I've been a long-time environmentalist, actually for the last almost 30 years. And I realized that we really needed to get the word out. We really needed to educate people. And so what I decided to do was to start a program that actually would teach people about the harmful contaminants in the environment and then what to do about them from a truly plant-based approach.
All right, well, teach us.
Well, terrific.
You're on the spot.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
You have 13 minutes. Go.
13 minutes. Well, you know, I usually take 2 full days. What's fascinating for me is I actually started, you know, when you were saying about Eco Essentials Consultant, I started out in this whole field as a result of my own illness. And I just wanted to comment on that because that really opened the door for me as to how detrimental the contaminants, the pollutants, the insecticides, the pesticides, and all of the chemicals that we are using constantly. And this happened for me about 30 years ago, believe it or not, and it was in the 80s. And I began my doctoral program, and I decided that at that time I was looking at a psychology degree, and looking at the psychological implications of what was happening. And I realized that I was being affected. I was noticing my own mood swings. I was noticing, you know, I was having a lot of allergies at that time, sensitivities.
And often people don't realize that their allergies are related to things that are floating around the environment that they can't even see.
That's correct.
You know,
and so
outside the norm of pollen. You know?
Correct. They always thought it's pollen. I was reacting to a lot of the chemicals. So at that time there was a fancy name. It was called multiple chemical sensitivities. And CBC at that time even came out with a program called 20th Century Disease. And it's unfortunate because we hardly hear about that today. But we see this tremendous growth of diseases that you were pointing out earlier in the show. And this is just continually growing. And really, truly, we're not only seeing amongst the people, population, we're seeing it amongst the fish, our wildlife, our plant life. So it's affecting every part of our environment.
Yeah, and children are being affected more so these days. The World Health Organization put out a report that 11 million kids die annually due to environmental factors.
Absolutely.
And that could be prevented. You know, a lot of this is, you know, toxins in fossil fuels.
And absolutely. But when we just look at indoor air pollution alone, we're looking at 1.6 million people who die annually.
Yeah. So we need to do something about this. What did you bring?
So I have some samples of what I'm going to show and talk a little bit about.
Okay.
Actually, this is the easiest
What is that?
for house cleaning. This is actually just a show. It's just a simple little jar or big jar. And I've added its baking soda.
Oh, I was going to smell it. Okay.
Yeah, well, you can smell it because I've already added 2 oils.
Oh.
And I became
That smells nice, actually.
Yep, absolutely, for cleaning. And I decided that because
That's refreshing for cleaning.
it's very refreshing. All it is baking soda with lemon oil and palmarosa.
Okay.
Palmarosa oil. Now, why am I using essential oils? Well, essential oils are truly plant-based oils. These are absolutely have to be plant-based, environmentally free of toxins.
People can clean their home with this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, why do I'm choosing lemon is to talk a little bit about first because what has been found actually with the research is just exciting. Dr. Valney, a medical doctor,
Yes.
back in the early 1940s, late 1940s, 1950s, he discovered and he actually showed that just by vaporizing it, which means just inhaling the fumes, okay, just take a whiff of that. Okay,
like
if
that.
I was to just air out this whole studio, he actually found and discovered that meningococcus bacteria would be completely neutralized, obliterated in 15 minutes. And then we have typhoid bacteria was completely obliterated in 1 hour.
Wow.
And staphylococcus bacteria completely taken care of in 2 hours.
Spores and all.
Spores and all.
Wow.
Okay, and
That's
in 3 hours
impressive.
we have pneumococcus bacteria taken care of.
All
So
with
that's
essential oils.
all with just lemon oil. Now, it's so impressive that hospitals in England actually use this as their antiseptic and disinfectant. It's also been found to be antitumoral, all at the same time. So this is one of the graces about it. There's so many uses for lemon. It can be used because it is a food grade. It is therapeutic grade, solvent-free, adulterant-free. Remember all those harmful chemicals. And so we can use it in water.
You're going to
And I
drink
can
that.
drink it.
And you can drink it. You can drink it, you can clean it, you can put it on your body topically. Why
That's
aren't
what's-
more people or more organizations, such as hospitals,
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Where's mine?
Well, I'll have you have a drop or two as well.
Share the
well,
oil.
that's the reason that I'm delighted to be on the show with you, because it is about educating people. It truly is about letting them know how easy it is,
That's like
how
lemonade.
beneficial. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, that is. It's like a nice
And
summer
all the
lemonade.
benefits. And actually, some of the latest research, especially in Japan, has found it to be very high in D-limonene, and so it is just
It's alkalizing.
correct.
Yeah, nice.
Isn't that wonderful?
Absolutely.
All at the same time,
Yeah.
and you can use it for household cleaning. It can be used in your dishwasher, it can be used in your laundry, it can be used as I have here with the baking soda and off on your counters and sinks to wash with. Now I do have a running shoe, but before I show you my running shoe, this is actually a demo I did before.
Okay.
Okay, and it's a plate.
You have holes in your plate.
I have holes in my plate. And basically what I did was I just added a drop of lemon oil. Why am I doing that? Because I wanted to show and demonstrate that the lemon oil has the capacity to literally
Is it
digest.
eating away?
It'll start to eat away.
it'll start to
It
eat away.
has the ability to digest petrochemicals. Now, you know why that's important? Because in 1990, this is back in 1990, the Environmental Protection Agency actually discovered that everyone that they tested had petrochemical pollution. This is everyone that they tested had petrochemical pollution in their system.
Because they're eating off those plates.
Correct. Plus all of the chemicals they're using in their household cleaning items.
Yeah.
The pesticides, it just goes on and
So
on.
it's reducing our longevity.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
So here is a way you can actually start to see, you're seeing it digest and starting to break
Yeah,
down.
it is. You can
Okay,
see.
the formaldehyde, which is used to make these foam plates. Formaldehyde, by the way, is a product or a chemical that's used in many different products, including personal care items, and it's a carcinogen, meaning it causes cancer. So why would we want to be using such a product? And the beauty about lemon oil is it can be used for scuff marks. So I thought, well, I'll show
You have a running shoe.
my running shoe. And because sometimes I had actually one of my clients who is very particular about his running shoes because he's a runner. And actually he was an Olympic athlete. So he says, I actually was able to get my scuff marks off of my running shoes without a harmful chemical. And that's what makes it so exciting. So I can just actually mark, you can probably see that mark on the running shoe. And obviously people look at, chlorine or Javix products, and how do we take something off like that?
I'm loving this water. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Isn't that wonderful? And it's refreshing. You're getting your all the benefits of D-limonene, which is, of course, it's like your vitamin C. So,
Okay, what are you going to do with this shoe?
cheers. So easily, we're just going to drop a drop of lemon oil, and I'm just going to start to rub it off. And as you can see, it's coming
It's
off.
coming off.
And it will completely come off because I've done it before, and it's just basically to show how lemon oil will take off scuff marks and really clean off.
So this is great for people in, let's say, wellness clinics who have, let's say, massage tables. Can they use this product to disinfect?
Correct. And it's interesting that you asked that because there's another oil that, there's actually a couple of oils that we can use as a disinfectant. And matter of fact, it is so powerful as a disinfectant that today we're actually seeing hospitals in the U.S. include these same essential oils into their hospital
Nice. Which
medical
ones?
care.
Which ones
and
are
I
they?
have a list of them,
Okay.
and there's quite a list because we have 50 of them.
We don't have enough time.
We don't
for
have enough
50.
time to go
No.
into that. And they're using these as disinfectants. And this is another one, and this is actually a third one. These are
Thieves.
actually...
Let's talk about thieves and mold, because mold is a huge, huge issue in people's homes. And kids who grow up with mold actually are affected with pulmonary.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you are asking that question because I actually brought my journal of research.
Okay.
This issue is devoted totally to mold. And of course, the problems with mold, as you just pointed out, for all kinds of symptoms and all
Sure,
kinds
headaches,
of problems,
allergies, insomnia.
etc.
Yeah.
And it goes on depression,
Yeah.
mental illness,
Yeah.
etc. And really, truly, how do you rid mold in the home? Well, this research study that was done, this was actually done over a number of years by Dr. Edward Close, who's an environmental engineer, and he became fascinated with the role of essential oils, mainly because of its historic perspective and how it was used in ancient times. And what he decided to do is a real 2-year study. And this is where he actually diffused this particular combination, thieves, oils, into the atmosphere. And just to give you an example, a sheetrock sample that had 75,000 spores, thieves eliminated completely these spores in 72 hours just by diffusing it into the air.
That's impressive because spores are hard to get rid of.
Correct.
Yeah.
So just take a whiff of that. Isn't that awesome?
That is nice.
And so this is a combination that has cinnamon, it has the lemon in it, it has rosemary, it has clove oil in it, and it has eucalyptus.
One of the,
Fabulous.
I mean, I love essential oils because I'm so sensitive. So whenever I'm around toxins, I mean, my body breaks out, it reacts right away to try and get those toxins out of me. So what last minute advice do you have for people in terms of eco-friendly living?
Well, that's the reason I certainly am introducing this, because it is a fabulous way to introduce the oils into the home for eco-conscious living, eco-green living. This, I refer to it as real green.
Why real?
Because it's really from the plant. There's no adulterant, there's no additive, there's no solvent, nothing is added. It has to be pure. So pure that we can ingest it. So these are food-grade oils. That's totally different.
So you can cook with them?
I can cook with them. I can add them to my meals. I can add them to my salad dressings. And at the same time, the same oil,
You're getting
I
all the
can use it-
antioxidants. And
Correct. I mean, this is what's so wonderful and brilliant about it.
Yeah.
And so this is so easy for many, many people
Sabina,
to
Dr.
use.
Sabina, thank you so much.
So welcome.
Come back anytime. We'll be right back on Health Matters, more on eco-friendly living.